JiggyJaguar.com.
People are running around with their hair on fire today. It is the world famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast. We are live coast to coast and border to border on iHeartRadio, also AMFM247.com. Tune in, iTunes, and of course TalkShoe. And we have got a great guest. The good doctor joins us here on our broadcast. Doctor, how are you, my friend?
You know, well, I'm hanging in there. Times are tense right now.
Yes, it seems like everybody's got their hair on fire for whatever reason. But
well, yeah, especially hey, I've got this at home. My youngest kid had a fever, and my wife automatically assumed it was coronavirus. I go to the hospital, and everybody's wearing masks, and man, it's crazy.
Dr. Charles Page with us today. He joins us live here on our big program. And you know what is interesting about this whole thing, Doctor, is I am starting to talk to more and more people that said that they think they had this in November. And I think I might have gotten it in February. So has this thing been here a lot longer than we are giving this credit for?
Perhaps, and if it has, that's good news, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good news. And there are people who are talking about doing studies and doing random testing just to see if people are positive for the virus. And so I think that would be a very positive thing. The whole scare about this is that, most people's immune systems have never seen this virus, or at least that's what we think.
We have got Dr. Charles Page with us today. He joins us live here on our big program, Coast to Coast and Border to Border on TuneIn, iTunes, of course, TalkShoe.com. And the good doctor joins us today here on the broadcast. And Surgeon General warns it's going to get bad before it gets better. What do you make of all this, Doctor?
I think that he is probably right. Of course, we're expecting the worst and preparing for the worst, but hoping for the best. If the projections are right, they think that up to 80,000 people in the United States are going to die from this virus. And it's supposed to, we haven't really hit the wave yet. It's supposed to come in April. So, man, I hope the epidemiologists and all these, public health doctors are wrong about this. But if they're right, we need to hunker down.
Is this going to be a situation where every winter, every spring, they're going to lock people down because that's the only way they know how to fight this stuff?
I don't think so. If we look at the history of these things, we've had several, we had the SARS, and of course this is a type of SARS, but we had the SARS thing in China, and we had the Spanish flu back in the day, and so hopefully this is not going to be a recurring theme every year. I really doubt it.
Because I don't know. There's just too many politicians and people that I can see taking advantage of this. Yep. Taking advantage of people's health.
I agree. It's kind of scary. We can't have a. I'm gonna take part of these Small Business Administration loans, but we can't. Our government cannot do this every year. Give everybody 3 months off and give them a check in the mail. So
yes, because everybody.
What we're gonna do, but I think this is going to be an anomaly. I think when the next virus comes, I think we're going to be better prepared. I think it will be more realistic. Of course, each virus is unique.
Yes.
But I do think that we'll be better prepared to deal with it.
Because, I see all these people all over the news, and you see various folks that are like, oh, my God, we can't have socialism, we can't have socialism. And they're like, well, shut everything down, send everybody a check. What do they think that is?
Well, yeah, and let me tell you, even for me, for example, I'm a dinosaur. I have a private practice. I have 6 employees, and the state has shut down all elective surgeries.
Yeah.
And so you think about this. Think about my practice. Think about all these small hospitals that are in the red already, almost running out of business. When we shut down elective surgeries, man, we cause a lot of problems. So, and it's kind of scary to think, I mean, would they continue doing this even after the virus? I mean, would they continue, I've got an appendectomy to do here in about an hour. Am I going to have to pass this through a committee every time I go to have, take care of somebody? That kind of scares me.
It is a fantastic guest with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast, and the good doctor joins us. Now, you have a lot of things going on. Tell us a little bit about your website, my friend.
Well, so, I started writing these stories about my patients because I've learned to listen to my patients and, just hearing their faith stories, and I've kind of learned to realize the difference that a little bit of faith and a little bit of courage and a little bit of hope makes in a health crisis. And so I began to write about that. I think a lot of that was just from, knowing how to process these things, on my own. So I wrote this book, A Spoonful of Courage, and so that's kind of what the website's about, and that's kind of what we're about, is just encouraging people, who are going through a health crisis.
We have got a great guest with us today. Joins us live here in our broadcast. Dr. Page is with us. And this book, incredibly well written. Talk to me a little bit about the writing process and putting this whole thing just from gathering stories to bringing it to life in book form.
Well, these are very short stories. It's very similar to like the Chicken Soup for the Soul, series. These are something that somebody that's sick can read, and they can read a chapter and open it up anywhere in the book and read it, and hopefully be encouraged. Kind of help them change focus. I mean, these are faith-based stories. Kind of helps people to focus on, prayer and the things that we probably need to be doing more of right now. In fact, the book is for free right now on Amazon. My publisher decided just to give it away for free for folks because we feel like everybody needs to kind of help, stay focused and, be encouraged right now.
We have got Dr. Page joining us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast. And, Doctor, there is so much going on nowadays with this situation and all these things. How do you have a book like yours stand out in the marketplace?
Well, that's a good question. It's funny. I'm a general surgeon, so no one ever knows I exist until something bad happens.
Well,
what do you do?
You hit that right on the head, brother.
Spleen out, or they have cancer. Then they go, "Oh, okay, I see what he does." But it's the same kind of thing with this book. Writing a book, for sick people who are suffering with a medical problem. No one's really thinking about it until we start having to deal with sickness and suffering. So right now it's it's kind of on everybody's mind. Am I going to get this virus, and how bad is it going to be, and am I going to die, or is my loved one's going to die? Just like last night, I told you my wife, she was freaking out about our youngest son. Does he have a coronavirus? And so, it's just one of those things. It just kind of seemed to hit at the right time.
We've got Dr. Page with us today. He joins us live here in our broadcast. He has a fantastic, fantastic book out there, A Spoonful of Courage for the Sick and the Suffering. It's a compilation of faith-based inspirational stories, which helps the ill see the possibilities and problems. The book is offered for free on Amazon to give hope, courage, and faith to those suffering in the COVID-19 pandemic. His website is charleswpage.com for more information. So what's been some of the different feedback you've gotten on the book so far?
Well, I think people have been encouraged. I think it's helped people change focus. Especially right now, so many people are anxious, and just kind of helping them to kind of, we feel alone. We're now socially distanced and isolated. We feel afraid. We feel inadequate. We feel like we're out of control. And guess what? We are out of control. I'm a surgeon. I'm a control freak. I love to control things, but from an earthly standpoint, we realize we're not in control. How do you control a virus?
Well, that too.
And that's the whole thing. Our government is trying to control this, and and I think it's a good thing. I mean, it's better than doing nothing and just having a fatalistic approach. But ultimately, we realize we're not in control.
So, with this book, what do you want readers to take away from your writing?
I want them to change focus. like I was saying, so often our feelings overwhelm us, and just go back to the facts. And the fact is, that God is in control, that God does love us. He's all wise. He wants what's best for us. And so, when we begin to look, stop looking inward so much and begin to look upward, and then begin to look outward and look towards, how can we encourage other people and how can we help other people in this crisis? I think those are the people that do the best, the people that begin to, to look towards the needs and the interest of other people.
It is a fantastic guest. Dr. Page joins us today here in our broadcast. So what did you, as a physician, because you guys are sworn to take an oath, essentially, what did you make of some of these government officials the last couple weeks who have said, well, if you're a certain age, we're just going to have to prioritize what we do here?
That does scare me. Once again, it's funny how the medical system has changed. Many doctors are now employees, and used to be as physicians, we didn't work for a healthcare system. We worked for patients. And once again, I'm a dinosaur. I still try to do what's best for my patients. And each circumstance is unique.
Yes.
And so that's what scares me about protocols is that, as individuals, each one of us are unique and have unique issues. And, I really don't want to be in the situation of deciding, whether an 80-year-old person with cancer is taken off the vent to save the vent for maybe a 30-year-old person. Those are things I just don't really want to think about. And hopefully we're going to have some answers, before we get there. Fortunately, we're doing everything we can to get as many ventilators as we need. As you know, this virus tends to affect the lungs. It causes an interstitial pneumonitis and what we call ARDS, which is kind of a chronic, inflammatory response in the lungs. And so, but man, we need to remember that we're humans, and that's kind of one of the things I've written about is that, each one of us, we're human beings, and we need to kind of remember this in this process.
We have got a great guest with us today. Dr. Page joins us here in our broadcast. Do you think that when this is all over with, that folks are going to have a little bit different way of doing life, or do you think that we're just going to go back to normal and everybody's going to be a prick to everybody and we're going to not wash our hands and all this crap?
Well, hey, the nurses have really liked this social distancing. They don't really like me in their face anyway, so this gives them an excuse. But I'll tell you something. I do think it's going to change some things. I think, slowing down has been good for me and my family.
Yes.
Not going out to eat and staying home and eating supper. And I think we talk more as a family now. We spend more quality time together. We're doing more stuff online, of course. It's going to change the way we do medicine a lot. This is opening up a door for telemedicine. And, even in the office, it's changing the way that we address patients. We're doing more phone conversations. We're doing more internet, Skype, Zoom kind of conversations with patients, trying to protect them. And I think this is it's really going to change the way we see our world.
As a radio person and as a technology person, I have for several years tried to get folks to learn how to use frickin' Skype, and and there's a lot of people they're just not into it. This has done more to educate people on how to use Skype than any other time in our history. So you hit it on your head with things, my friend.
And there's a lot of people, especially the population I serve, they're still in the flip phone phase of life. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so, they're going to have to come to the office. They're going to have to learn. I think it's going to push people, it's going to push people faster into all of this new technology. for better or for worse.
For better or for worse. You're right. You're right, my friend. Well, Doctor, good luck with the book. I hope to talk to you soon. Have yourself a wonderful, wonderful afternoon, sir. Thank you.
Man, yeah, thanks for having me on the show. It was a pleasure.
Definitely. Have yourself a wonderful day, Doctor. There he goes.